for the kettlebell deadlift, pretty simple. We're going to stand directly over your bell, ankles in line with the weight. My guess is if your deadlift is half as good as your squat, nobody is going to really have any problems here. But just to go over all the finer points, you're going to break at the hips back first, slight bend at the knees until your hands meet the handle. All 10 fingers fit into that handle. No pinkies out, no bougie deadlifts here. So tight, keep your neck neutral, just squeeze your rear end and stand. And do think about tightening up the lats, tightening up the quads and the abs. Set it right back down where you found it. Tap the floor and stand. Let's go ahead and knock out 10. Really want you to think about standing up with tight quads, tight abs, tight lats. Honestly, if we had more time, we'd spend a lot more time on the quads. But I just want you to think about locking them out hard at the top, like you're pulling your kneecaps up into your hip. That's a good way to get into those quads there. Nice, strong, long arms. And once you hit 10, you can relax here. Everybody's weight is good. Any major points of concern? Everybody's back feels okay? So just a couple extra points here for the deadlift. In the same way, like with the squat, how we were thinking about squeezing in and pulling away in order to contract like the pecs and the lats, we can do kind of that same thing here in the deadlift to really get into the lats. And that is the cue of trying to break the bell apart, trying to pull the handle like that, like bend it. So you can see, just by doing this motion, I'm getting into my lats there. I'm internally rotating the arm, and that really helps to fire up the lats. So when you're doing that against an immovable object, like a kettlebell handle, ideally we're looking for making up the difference with tension in the lats. So I'm going to kind of dramatize this a little bit, but when you're setting up here, this is loose shoulder, and then this is breaking the handle apart. Make sense? This is loose. This is just a loose deadlift. But if you want to be strong, pull your shoulder blades back into your back pocket, break the handle, and go to town. Does that make sense? So try 5 reps like that. Break the handle, feel the engagement in the lats, stand up tall and strong. Try to keep the weight on the midfoot. Not too much on the heel, not too much on the toe. Kind of on the midfoot. You got your handle and your weight is centered right up under. You can play with asymmetric stances. A little bit more neutral, a little bit more turned out. Experiment and see. Nobody ever tells them that it's okay to experiment with placement and angle of turnout. Then they'll never train that way. And sometimes that's the thing that's actually like the root of a lot of injury and movement issues and stuff like that. So again, I like the kettlebell because it allows you a lot of wiggle room in a very low pressure, ergonomic way. Again, same thing with the squat. Good luck getting your average Joe to play around with the squat stance in a back squat. It's it's usually pretty dicey. But you got a goblet squat. You want to be a little bit more narrow? Go to town. You want to be a little bit more wide? Go to town. You want to stick one side out? Go to town. And then just in the course of like 5 minutes, you can experiment with like a dozen different stances. And if you're really tuning in to how a person moves and how they're feeling and what the feedback is, you can probably find their optimal squat and or deadlift stance in no time.